Dustin, now, this is my first time
I understand.
ever
I get it.
getting to cast.
It's going to be good.
You know, we were just talking about in the Q&A that the only experience I've had with Heroes of the Storm is on the original tribute map.
Oh yeah, this is a very different
And
map.
I've only seen this on BlizzCon, so I
All
know
right,
a little
let's see
bit
what we
about
got
it.
here. On the left-hand side, we've got the blue team with Sergeant Hammer, Tyrael, Nova, Tyrande, and Chef Stitches, all ready for action there. Let's take a look at the right-hand side of the map. We've got Red playing as Tinker, as Witch Doctor, as Arthas, as the elite Tauren Chieftain, and Malfurion, our druid there, and they are absolutely ready to go. We got a couple of skins in there too. Looks like we got Blood Arthas in there as well. I'd like to point out to everybody, this is an alpha version of this game. This is a live cast. It could totally crash. Anything could happen at this point, and I'm just going to sit here the whole time living in fear of something horribly, horribly wrong going here in this software. But we wanted to show this game to you guys. We thought we'd take our chances and put it out there. The other thing I'd say too is we didn't get any beta questions when we were discussing it with the Q&A earlier on. We are working as hard as we can towards that beta, but we do not have a date to announce yet. But we will get it out to you guys just as soon as we can. So you see the game is reasonably far along. So our biggest concern at this point is making sure that our technology is in position, that we can handle the load of the number of players who are interested, and we can get ready for all the people who want to play this game. So key to this map is controlling the areas around the mines. And you see these players lining up to do that right now. We got Malfurion, we've got Witch Doctor down here at the bottom. That's a reasonable combination. With Nova there lurking just out of position in the shadows, I think Blue's got the advantage in the bottom position. Then lines, oh, Arthas gets holding range of the towers. He's getting a little bit of trouble right there. ETC comes in to try to bail him out. It looks like Tyrande's going to pay for this pull, and down she goes, Red with first blood, even though it was Blue team that got the hook. We're having a little mic difficulty here with Sean right now, so he's being suspiciously quiet, but I think he might be back in action right now.
It's all right. No, I just need the microphone stabilized. That's all I need. It's fallen off my face, but guess what? I'm observant, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm going to be asking questions. I mean, I'm not going to just stand over here at some point. I'm not.
That would not be great.
I am no Bronze League observer, but I mean, we're seeing a lot of, like, you know, the usual mechanics of, you know, the MOBA genre, but like for me, I have very limited experience in the genre at all. I mean, I've watched some LCS, I've played a couple MOBA games in general. So, you know, I'm familiar with some of the basic roles, but like, this is not the usual 3-lane map.
No, this is our 2-lane map, and this is because we have so much space in the Haunted Mines, which are going to open up here in just a little bit. What everybody's doing right now is they're fighting for position and trying to get off some early advantage. They can get a level difference at this point. So we have team levels in this game, so they can go up 1 level above the enemy. That will be a huge advantage. You can see right now that Red Team is actually up 1 level. So by the time those mines open up, you want to have a level advantage if you can swing it. And Blue is in a little bit of trouble right here, down on those levels. And now they just caught up again. So it's not much of an advantage Red has got. In addition to that level advantage, you want to get the positional advantage. If you can push back these minions into these towers and really sort of gain control of the area around the mines, you'll be in a position to get down into the mines and prevent the enemy from doing it at all, or certainly delaying their arrival into the mines, which again will earn your team the benefits of the mines. We'll see those come online. For those of you who haven't seen this game or know what I'm talking about, I suppose you should discuss it. When you get down into the mines, you'll see these mines will open up, and when you go below, you collect skulls. And when all the skulls are collected, a grave golem will be built by both teams. And how many skulls you've collected will determine how big your grave golem is. So the more skulls, the bigger your grave golem. And that grave golem will push. Whoa, big hook there on ETC. It's a little bit of trouble. He's trying to get out of there. I think Nova drops him. Well done by Nova. And it looks like Tyrande might pay again. Oh, Daybringer just gets away. Daybringer is Brett, one of our balance laners. Really strong player. Watch him do very well with that character as the game progresses.
All right, so right now it looks like they're trying to maintain control of this. Like, how does the strategy work with trying to go into the mines?
So you're watching, it's just about to happen even now. We're just there, the mine has just opened up and the units have spawned. So now, if you go down, you'll see them cross over here in a minute. Tyrande looks like she's going to go. So go down to the bottom of the map, that's right, down there, and you can see Tyrande has now moved into this whole other area of the map, which is the mines. And she's going to go down here and try to collect the skulls from these skeletons down. So there's 1 skull, she's collected 1. You can see there at the top of the screen, Blue has collected 2 skulls out of 98 skulls remaining. Red is coming down here closing in. Tyrande a little bit of trouble. She's surrounded by ETC and Gazelle the Tinker there. Wow, I was saying great things about Brett. He just got crushed. So it looks like Blue has got a little bit of advantage in the mines in terms of skull collect, but you saw Red had a strong presence down there in the mines in the top position. We still have a couple of players staying up top just to collect experience points from those minions. If you leave all of the lanes, your team's going to get no experience points from those lanes. So it sometimes makes sense to click some up top as well.
I mean, are they getting experience in the lower lanes? Or
they
is it
are getting experience on their well,
okay.
but remember, it's shared team experience. So you need someone at each location where experience points is being generated, and then your team will get access to that experience point. So you kind of are encouraged to spread out. Obviously, as things get serious, you want to bunch up for the team fight. So it's sort of a difficult strategic choice. You see here, red's really moving well together there as they maneuver around. Blue in a little bit of trouble. Red clustering well. There's a back attack there by Sergeant Hammer. Arthas a little bit of danger. Down goes Witch Doctor, and Tyrande coming in as well. I think Red is getting surrounded here. 3-2-5 and absolutely annihilated. It looks like they're in total trouble. Another one down.
I mean,
tons and tons of kills for Blue in that spot.
Every single hero is in the mines. I mean, is this pretty standard? I mean, I know that this is the big source of skulls, this Mega dude.
Yeah, it's pretty typical at this stage of the game. Later on in the game, as the heroes go up in levels and the mercenaries become a bigger part of the experience on this map, sometimes you will see players be a lot more strategic about who does and who does not go down into the mines, because you simply can't afford to leave your bases up top undefended, or you might be able to do more damage up top by leaving a few heroes up there. But at this early position, generally speaking, advantage in the mines is what you want. There's not a lot to be gained by staying up top, and so you see some players stay up top to maintain some kind of experience points advantage, but they won't leave any serious forces up there, and generally speaking, they'll commit everybody to the mines below.
So I mean, right now it looks like Red is just trying to abate as much damage as they can in the mine to try to lower that, and they're pushing really hard up on the top. I mean, there's only really one blue hero down in the south lane. Yeah,
so Red is sort of lost out in the mines. They knew they didn't get the lion's share, so they left Blue to clean up down there. And while Blue was cleaning up, Red tried to get something done. And so they went back and they got themselves a mercenary camp there, and now they're pushing hard against these lanes, trying to gain some kind of advantage from their defeat in the mines. Obviously, those golems are going to come up, and it's got 64 golems to 36, so Blue has the golem advantage. But honestly, at this point, that was a little bit of a fairly even exchange. I like the golem advantage for Blue, but I think Red did manage to get some stuff done down here. They've really pushed that top tower. They've got some minions down here. There's some of these siege giants that, if they're protected, which they need to protect them right now, might be able to do a significant amount of damage to that base as well. So Red is still absolutely in this game, even though that battle for the mines didn't really go that way, and you can see in the kills up there, they are struggling a little bit on the kills at 8-3 in favor of Blue.
Okay, so walk me through a little bit of some of the more basic mechanics, because I mean, every MOBA game has its rules about how experience sharing works, about where the big chunks of experience are. Actually, maybe we should wait, because the golems are on the field.
Pretty significant. So that golem is just going to charge those towns. He's just going to honey badger his way forward and smash everything he possibly can that gets in his way. And so you can see he's going to blast his way through these towns, and a big team fight's going to develop right here. We got a bunch of battling going on here. At the same time, those siege giants are moving to engage as well. So this is a big advantage right there for Blue in that top lane. In the bottom lane, you can see how much smaller the Grave Golem is for Red, and quickly Tyrande, their Daybringer, is going to drop that Grave Golem and really end that threat. While up top, this is going to likely crack this front gate, and the Blue is not really protecting this Golem very effectively. So it looks like Red's going to take this down as well for not a ton of significant damage. They took a beating here, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Well, I mean, how much should a team be focusing on protecting his own golem versus destroying the enemy team's golem? Like, what are
really
the
depends on the scenario, depends on the characters you have in play, it depends how much damage your team has taken in that area of the map already. At this stage, you can really make some choices. Later in the game, sometimes the golem will really force your hand. You can see a big team fight is developing up here in top lane. The carnage is everywhere, and it looks like Blue is once again, well, I don't know, they're backing up. I thought they were in good position there based on the damage, but they're all pretty wounded, and with that ultimate cast by Malfurion, all of those healing is really kept in this game. Malfurion gets hooked by Stitches, immediate support coming from everybody around him. Stitches in a lot of trouble right there. Starfall coming from Tyrande doing a lot of damage as well. ETC trying to get off his ultimate, doesn't really catch anybody in it, and Blue and Red, he both lose a hero in the resulting battle, and Blue getting absolutely hammered. So earlier on, it looked like Blue was doing very well in the team fights, and you can see the kills are starting to even up. But now at 10 kills for Blue and 7 kills from Red, from previously they were down like by 5 or 6 kills.
You know, a lot of these abilities is the first time I've ever seen them, but of course, having played a lot of Warcraft 3, you know, being a big strategy gamer, I recognize a lot of them just based on the art. I mean, how often are those assets? How important is that for it to, you know, to connect back to the previous franchises?
They've so changed over the years that we can't use exactly the same assets. We're using the same visual clues so that you can have that recognition between different heroes. So if you've seen a Starfall from a Warcraft 3 hero or whatever, you have a chance to recognize that when you get into the game as well. And obviously, we're trying to make as much of those connections as we can. That's Chef Stitches on the back of a unicorn. Sort of
some kind of Nyan Cat entry.
Yeah, exactly. Just one of our classic moments here in Heroes. It looks like Blue's getting a little frisky here. Red wants some more payback. They've got Stitches and Tyrael. These are two very tough, very difficult heroes to drop. And they do want to take him out. And there's a retreat under the mines for Tyrael. He knows he's in trouble. He's surrounded by 4 heroes. He says, the heck with it. I'm going to make a run through it for the empty mines. They can chase me. As long as I draw them away from the enemy, I'll be in a happy place. So he manages to get out of what was certain death by using the mines. A really clever use of that. Red clustered here very well. It looks like Malfurion's in a little trouble. Down he goes from a shot from Sergeant Hammer. Tyrande running as well, and Red really being very aggressive here, pushing these guys all the way around.
Looks like Tyrael gets caught down in the mines, but just makes sure to fend it off. I mean, we're seeing it looks like the red team stay together most of the time. I mean, typically we see in most MOBAs. I mean, how fast are we? How far into the game are we at this point? Like just
I think we're
8,
probably
10 minutes or so?
Yeah, something like that. We used to have a clock, but we don't have it working in observer mode right now. But we're still very early in this game. The whole thing will probably be over by 20 to 25 minutes at the outside. I've had like one 35-minute game in Internal Alpha. That's extremely rare.
Yeah.
So the games are very, very quick. Oh wow, that's a lot of trouble for Tyrande right there. She is getting protected by Tyrael with that shield, but you see those 2 tanks really want some blood off it. There goes the Starfall. Down she goes. Here comes ETC into the fight
One
as well.
star fell. You know, I mean, but we're seeing so many more team fights than what you'd typically see in almost any other existing MOBA. I mean, obviously on a 2-lane map, it's much easier to rejoin together.
So we're not going to be able to play on it today because it's still back under construction. You see the mines are open again. There's a lot of action going on here. If you're looking at a map like Dragonshire, where you need to control all 3 lanes simultaneously to get the benefit of the map mechanic, you see a lot fewer team fights. You see the players really splitting up, and that's the point of that
this
map.
is the perm cloaking that you were telling me about.
Cloak. So he didn't really notice it was coming. It was difficult to see in the mines, and he's really going to pay. Nice dancing by Gnome. He's one of our balance designers. Very good. That's Matt Cooper. You may remember from his famous days on StarCraft, and down he goes. Just a little bit of trouble right there. That's not the battle engagement he wanted to have right there. And this is a critical time for them to lose him. He's one of the stronger players, and he can be very effective down there in the mines. You can see the skull count's very even on both these players right now. And as in the mines, you can see there is some gathering of players. Blue has got position right there on that final golem to get the bulk of the skulls. But Red is starting to stream in a little bit here. So I don't know if control of that boss is very clear at this point. Red now with significant advantage in the mines, 3 players to 2. Down in the mines.
And now all of Blue dropped down to the mines, and it seemed like, I mean, is there strategy here, the fact that they've lost these 2, this set of towers and forts up at the north end to try to make up for it by getting a huge golem? Yeah,
they're going to want to get the biggest golem they can possibly get at this point to really push, and they're moving in here. Is it just Stitches? It is. The minimap, we actually need to make this minimap larger. It's very difficult for Sean and I to tell what's going on in the game. This is one of the feedback we've had from an internal alpha, and I'm sure you guys at home would say the same thing. It's difficult to see what's happening in that minimap, but it looks like Stitches, is he going to try to solo death? It looks like he is. There's a team fight developing up, and Stitches has the ability with his Devour to really get a lot of health back from the enemy unit, but I don't think he's got the firepower to necessarily engage a fully functional golem like that. Maybe he'll get some support a little bit later on. Looks like Witch Doctor in a little bit of trouble here, taking a little bit of beating from Sergeant Hammer. Oh, there's the long-range shot from Tyrande, just narrowly misses, and Tyrael gets the kill. ETC came for the rescue, and now in a little bit of trouble, but ETC is pretty mobile. I expect him to get out of there safely. Let's see what's going on down in the mines with Stitches. He's still dancing with this Grey Golem, making it work, dodging all those abilities, really struggling. This is a long time for Stitches to be out of action, but you know what? He's managed to pull it off and get a solo kill in that golem. That's a huge, huge benefit for the team, even though it did take him out of action for a long period of time. Look at all those skulls. Huge.
As the golems are summoning, walk me through a little bit of like how the XP sharing works. We asked that like right as they were summoning last time.
Yeah. So what happens is every time you get EXP, you get EXP for the team, which goes in towards your team level. So you really want to try to have people everywhere on the map that EXP can be earned. You want to have at least one person in every lane, if you can manage it, and you want to have some people maybe going out and grabbing some of the mercenary camps, whatever, to get some additional XP. But one person in each lane is sort of the minimum requirement in order to make it function.
Yeah.
Obviously, when the team fights are happening, it's not worth it to keep one person in each lane. It's just too dangerous. There's the Grave Golem popping up. There's ultimates firing off everywhere at this point. Absolute beating going down on both teams. Nobody quite dropped yet, but Blue in a lot of trouble. Look at all those engine heroes running for their lives. There goes somebody. 2 heroes down at this point. Man, it's just a bloodbath as that Grave Golem. I think he's going to drop that thing very successfully at this point. There's a little tiny Grave Golem over here. He's going to do some damage, and I think he will drop that town as well, but that town was in a lot worse shape than this top town is.
So, I mean, the Grave Golem is just for pushing these towers. They don't actually ever engage other heroes.
They put some area effects around them that can hurt other heroes pretty significantly, but no. Their primary focus is the towers. They will just sort of charge the nearest tower and start beating on it as fast as they can.
I also got really excited when I found the StarCraft Observer button still worked.
Oh God,
please don't
crash. I'm just living in fear. Whenever Sean hits another button, I just die a little bit more inside. I'm like, I hope it doesn't go down on us.
You know, I really feel like my purpose here in this cast is to be as dumb as possible. Like, what are these buttons doing? Just rake the keyboard.
I lose years off of my life from this one shoutcast.
So, I mean, like, this is also a mechanic I'm unfamiliar with. The idea of you kill these and then they join in on pushing the lanes.
On your side. So all of our, the game is very team focused. So everything you're doing in the jungle, everything you're doing in the lanes for the most part is focused on trying to help your team achieve victory. There's not a lot of sort of selfish things that you can do in this game where you're trying to do things to make yourself more powerful. You're always trying to do things to help your team win the game. So you want to focus on teamwork, focus on what your group needs to be effective. And so it can be a very strategic game in the sense if you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, you may not be helping your team at all. You may be wasting valuable, precious time. 1/5 of your team may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we found that communication on these teams is really, really important. And the teams, you really want to group up with your friends to play this game. It's the most powerful way to enjoy the experience. There's ETC like leaping into battle.
Every single red hero just lined up. Starfall, I can recognize that from a mile away, doing some work in mid.
Yeah, this is absolutely going to be a huge, huge team fight at this point. And as Red, you can see Red's got all these mercenaries pushing. And they're taking an absolute bloodbath here in the middle. It looks like it's fairly even on kills. There's 2 down now for Blue. Red doing very well. Malfurion in a lot of trouble. There goes Malfurion down as well. You can see at the top left and right side of the screens the pictures of all of the heroes with their timers, death timers up as well. So it is 3 on 3 right now, but it looks like it's about to be 3
on 2.
Yeah, exactly. As another hero goes down, and Blue in a little bit of trouble. Look at those mercenaries pressing in. Remember, early in the game, it didn't look like I was feeling a little bit worried about Red. They were losing. They lost that first team fight. They lost that first Grave Bomb, and now they are right back in this, really knocking on the front door in both lanes.
I mean, it almost seems like a whack-a-mole. I mean, it's not just centered around the team fight, because it looked like Red took a pretty sick beating, but they were focusing on the mercenaries first, so those seem to do a lot of work independently of the heroes.
Yeah,
is that actually accurate?
Absolutely accurate. The strategy is so important in this game, where to go, and there's a lot of misdirections you can do, and there's enough mechanics on the maps that you can often pull off a surprise victory. You can often get into a position where the enemy didn't expect you and do something they weren't prepared for. It looks like Gazzo's a little bit of trouble there. Down he goes. Here comes ETC jumping in to try to help out his buddies. He's a little late to the party. He's going to face a 3-on-2 situation as he and Arthas get out of there. It looks like Witch Doctor was trying to make it in, but she was a little late as well, and so they're forced to pull back. And now we've got mines spawning again. Now this is it, guys. This is the critical battle. Blue has lost the paint job on their front towers. Red has still got their bottom tower, but their top tower is gone, and this Grave Golem could be the absolutely determining battle. Red sending a bunch of guys to the mines. They are committed. They believe the mines is the way to go to win this game, and I'm not sure that they're wrong. Blue is only, it looks like, only got Nova in the mines to me. Blue a little indecisive here about what they're doing. Really a watchtower? I don't think that's really as important at this point as everything else that's going on. And it looks like Blue's going to lose Nova as well. So now they're down a hero for what I would think is the critical battle of this match to determine who wins this game. And Blue sending some more people into the mines. This engagement in the mines, if and when it comes, is probably going to be the deciding point for this game.
I mean, I see what we're talking about with the importance of keeping the team together. We see Blue getting a little spread out here, or now some of the red heroes getting a little spread out and getting punished so quickly for it.
There's Witch Doctor using his ultimate ability. That Ghost does a ton of damage and chases people around with it. You can just trash people. There's Starfort pounding away. Arthas trying to get some work done here. He's in a little bit of trouble. He does manage to chase off those 3 heroes. Incredible. Just want to take a beating from Arthas. I guess when he popped his ultimate, they just didn't feel safe. Red still down here in force, a little beat up from the battle. Blue down 2 critical heroes right now, and they're going to go directly for the Golem. I like this move a lot. They know that later on those heroes are going to be respawning, and they don't want to be playing cleanup there on the Golem while they're trying to engage in the battle, but they know they got the advantage now, so let's make use of it.
So, you know, in a lot of the other MOBAs, even though the heroes are very different from each other, there's a lot of those tenets that sort of, you know, they abide by when making new heroes. Here, I'm wondering what, like, some of the general cooldowns are on the abilities, because that'll obviously dictate how often you can engage in battle if ultimates recharge quickly.
It depends on the ultimates. We have a choice of ultimates for our players. You can choose between 1 or 2 different ultimates when you get in. We're probably adding more ultimates as we go forward. Some of the ultimates are very spammable. Some of the ultimates might be even a 10 or 15 second cooldown, but in many cases they're more like a 60 to 70 to 80 second cooldown. So that means you really got to pick your moment when you want to use those abilities, and some of them can be very impactful.
I mean, that's short in a general sense.
But given a 20-minute game, right? You
Yeah.
still got to pick your moments. You're gonna get to do it maybe 8 times at critical moments over the course of the game, maybe sometimes 6. And there's Gnome, it's Matt Cooper, a balance designer. They're picking off some.
Oh God, 5 to 75.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. The red has got serious advantage. This is going to be really difficult for blue. Now blue has grabbed a mercenary mechanic, and they want to try to get some work done here.
I mean, like, what hope does blue have in this position? Because I mean,
it really depends on the next team fight,
yeah.
right? We had a little bit of a burp there. I'm glad it didn't crash. I almost died there for a moment. It really depends on the next team fight and what happens. Obviously, red's in a clear situation of advantage. They've done their homework and they've got a position where they're happy. So it's going to be any move you're going to see from blue at this point is going to be a little bit desperate. They're going to have to sort of go for a little bit of an all-in kind of play. And there's choices that they can make. We've seen some crazy strategies, like just kind of ignore what's going on in the lanes, try to get as many mercenaries as possible. We've seen strategies involving, on other maps, critical grave golems. You can capture them and do stuff. We've sometimes seen base race scenarios where you literally hide out near the enemy base, wait for them to go to yours, and then just charge in as fast as you can and see if you can get some damage done. But I think you're going to see, if blue's going to pull it out at this point, it's going to be an act of desperation, or they're going to get clever and they're going to win this next team battle as that sad little golem charges into battle there. I think you may be able to drop that tower. This is the critical golem. It is freaking huge. And you see they're popping cooldowns on these things. They're using ultimate abilities, anything they can think of to drop this thing before it's too late. Red, really trying to, I don't know if I quite like this move. We'll see how it pays off for them. They're going to grab a mercenary camp here in the middle and try to push for it, but I think their timing was a little bit off. I think they really wanted to be support of that golem, and I think they would have won at this point. But they chose instead to grab the mercenary camp. I think by the time those mercenaries show up, that tower is going to be dead, but you're also going to see that their golem is going to be gone. Now, both teams are level 20, I believe, at this point. This is level 19 for blue. That's a critical difference. This is a huge loss. There's a special talent that comes along, now they're both level 20, called the Storm's abilities, and they're incredibly powerful. And it's a breakpoint in the talent tree, so you'll see players, when you cross that breakpoint, try to get something done in the few seconds or minute they might have with that talent advantage.
I mean, is 20 the max level?
20 is not the max level. We do up to 25, but there is that breakpoint is absolutely critical. And Red's just trying to get the mercenary camp so they can hopefully win this game with a big push. And it looks like the teams are even. The kills are fairly close. It's just so much damage has been done to blue's base at this point, and they didn't manage to. Red did not get anything done with that Grave Golem. Red very well clustered, ready for the big fight. Blue in position if they want it. There's Warfield, or Sergeant Hammer moving forward, trying to engage. Everybody's looking for the right angle. Stitches trying to get a little frisky there. ETC charging in. He takes quite a beating for it, but there's enough support in the area. I don't think it's really going to matter. Arthas really up front, closing in on Tyrande. He does get the hit off. It looks like there's a great ultimate being used there to chase off Tyrande, and down goes Tyrande as well, killed by the Witch Doctor. There is a triple tap. Down goes ETC as well. 2 heroes down now for Red. Blue in a pretty good position at this point. They are a little beat up. There's a great hook, and it looks like in a lot of trouble. He uses his ice block to survive, but he's not going to get him out in time. There's nobody to come to help. And that was the engagement we were talking about. That's exactly what needed to happen. They need not to lose too many heroes here. They're down 2. They don't want to lose any more trying to pick off this one hero.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we relate what just happened back to the mechanics of the map, it seemed like Red had a really huge opportunity with the Golem that once upon a time was here, but they abandoned it to do a huge minion push in this top lane with all 5 heroes. Now, what is it that won Team Blue in that fight? Was it just positioning? Is it the fact that the tower was also there, or is it just general?
The tower was a huge advantage, no question. The towers and the minions were definitely to their advantage. Whenever you're fighting in somebody's base, you're always going to be a little bit weaker than you were otherwise. And so they had that position, and they used it. I think their engagements were solid. I think they picked off the right heroes at the right time, and they managed to get done what they needed to get done. Now, here's the danger, right? Now, they've got 3 wounded heroes closing in. I'm not sure what they're going to try to accomplish here. I mean, obviously, they're tough enough at this point that the towns aren't super dangerous to them, and they're going to try to push through this base, but Red is respawning, right? They're right back in. Now, Sergeant Hammer there can do some damage. Here comes ETC, and to just wreck their day. I think they're going to lose a few critical heroes here. Stitches getting absolutely crushed Devour off there. ETC in a little bit of trouble, and there's too many Red in position. Sergeant Hammer is down. Stitches will soon be down. Tyrael is running for his life. There's a big blast from Gazlowe, who drops him. Wonderfully done. He does have his storm power, so he will resurrect immediately, but he can't do that again very quickly. Blue is getting beat on back in their base right now. We can hear it through the audio as they're battling it out here in the top lane. Honestly, I thought they won that team fight. It put them in great position, and they are still in this game, but I kind of wish Blue would have the opportunity to make a little bit more of that temporary advantage. They had all 5 Red heroes down. Admittedly, 3 of them were pretty beat up at the time, but I was hoping they could get more done with that. And now they're right back kind of where they're at, with Red back in the game, still with the advantage in the lanes, still with a, not with a new Grave Golem, of course, but their Grave Golem will respawn where it died. So it's going to respawn pretty much right next to the core. And here goes Red, finally coming in and pushing out that castle they wanted to kill in that first attack.
So right now the Haunted Mines are open, but it looks like Red has just decided we're going to abandon that. Yeah. This is the opportunity that we feel like we had before.
Yeah, the core is so vulnerable at this point. There's the ultimate from Witch Doctor trying to chase off the heroes. You can see the area effect from that ability is so significant. The core is absolutely taking a beating. The heroes do so much damage at this point of the game. You really need to control the area under base.
I don't think there's anything firing you right now, and there it is.
Just right-click core, and that is GG, the end. Well done, Team Red. Blue, you had a chance for a minute, and you made it glorious and great, but in the end, Red pulls it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, now, in terms of local strategy versus global strategy, like, there was a lot of moments where you're saying, oh, you know, this is a good opportunity to go for the Grave Golem. No, this is the time when they need to cluster together and go for a team fight. But if we had to describe, like, how Red played in that game, how do you describe games with these, like, really unusual maps? Do you say, like, oh, they're doing a very Grave Golem-focused strategy?
I think that would be a legitimate way to describe it. Honestly, we need more guys like you in a chance with the build.
To make words up.
To make words up and tell us how this works. We didn't make up how